I love
Good.
you.
I love you too.
And good morning, everybody. We are out here in front of Community Center for the Blind and Visually Impaired. Oh my goodness. We are out here in front of Community Center for the Blind and Visually Impaired at 2453 Grand Canal Boulevard, suite number 5. Oh my goodness. Okay, I don't know if that screen reader is coming through on there or not, but yeah. 2453 Grand Canal Boulevard, suite number 5 in Stockton, California. We have a smaller group today as some have returned to work at the school district, being that school is back in session. And so we are up here this morning to continue protesting the toxic work environment. 2 weeks ago, the police were called on us. Last week, a treasurer on the board of directors for this organization came by and said shame, shame to some people who are listed as clients of this organization. And from what one-sided individual had reported to us, was also shaking his head and giving dirty looks. That treasurer of the board refused to speak with any of us out here in regards to the situation, which shows how they feel about the clients on top of everything else. So, not sure if today a riot squad will be called on us or what. Hard to say, but we are out here in the hopes of provoking change at a toxic organization that literally verbally and psychologically abuses its clients and its staff, many of whom are blind or visually impaired. And we'll be getting started pretty soon here. It's a very, very warm morning. It was about 80 degrees Fahrenheit at 6 a.m., 6:15 a.m. when I headed out to come up here. Also a bit hazy out here due to the fires burning. Let's see, we have the truck going by. I usually do, so why would I not bring my family down? But we will be getting started shortly. Just waiting for anyone else to come that may be coming. Though it's a smaller group, we're going to continue protesting out here until there's a change. One of the key aims here is to have the executive director replaced with somebody who is more qualified and more compassionate to the needs of and the circumstances of individuals in the blind community. So we're going to continue. Have a meeting later on today with somebody who is on a leader in one of the commissions here in the San Joaquin area, in the hopes of collaborating and hoping to bring change in this place. Hopefully everybody out there who is watching is doing well. And yeah, as I said, we'll be starting here shortly.
Some of it's pollution and some of it is we never know. Yeah, they say like it's in.
But the heat is on.
Yeah. I would prefer not to have it there, thank you. Yeah, I know, that's the thing.
Again, we are out here at Community Center for the Blind and Visually Impaired, 2453 Grand Canal Boulevard, suite number 5, Stockton, California. Anybody who is in the area and would like to come and join in the protest, more than welcome to come out and lend your voice for a positive change.
Yeah, I got that. I was pausing a couple years ago. Did you? Yeah. Oh my god. Because I thought I was stressing out my daughter. Yeah, you thought it was like a stroke? Yeah.
As you can see, it's kind of hazy up here in the sky. Fires burning in Placer County and Riverside out here in California.
his still has weakness, but he's like learned to compensate for it. But like he has trouble eating like soup or something where it slips out of his eyes sometimes. So he would feel you on that one. Makes himself comfortable. Yeah, it's crazy. Our energy is so high. Is the stream going, Bob?
Yes.
We're talking about all our private personal.
Oh, I was just kind of out here. No, I was kind of out here explaining everything that's going on. So.
Yeah. You shut that one off. That part. Okay.
It's live.
Yeah, but I was just kind of, talking through everything that's going on.
Background.
Yeah, so don't.
Modern background.
Do you need a sign, Lisa? We're gonna get started.
Yeah, hold on.
Okay.
I'm gonna step back a little bit here.
I don't want you to get run over.
Oh, it'll probably hurt the car more than it'll hurt me.
I don't know which sign I have too. If you have time to tell me, Bob.
Let's see here.
I gave David the other one.
You have got the nothing
about us without us.
Yep.
Okay, that's a good one.
What's this one again, Jennifer?
It says
Blind Center equals toxic environment.
Okay. And we need the defund CCBVI for Lisa. Or Miguel, or whoever.
Was anybody else coming this morning?
I thought Cliff, and I didn't hear for sure from Janet. And Miguel Mendez said he'll be here, but he'll be late.
Okay. And we're also streaming out to the Stockton Blind Alliance YouTube channel as well. And
so we'll be streaming at least for a while here.
Yep. Yeah, it's going out to my Twitter account, to the Twitter account associated with our YouTube channel. Yeah, it's going out to multiple places, as well as the Facebook page for Stockton Blind Alliance.
Awesome. So I guess I'll do an intro and Lisa can grab a sign when she's ready.
Sounds like a plan.
Ooh, that must be the other one, the crackly one.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna switch since nobody's using the other one. Can you tell if it's white versus blue?
Let me take a look here. This is a white one.
Okay, good. I mean, I'm glad it's not my blue one because it sounds crappy.
Yeah.
That's not the kind of feedback we want.
Definitely not.
We'll get our...
There we go.
I think my personal off, but I don't care as long as we don't have any lovely denizens of the street.
If they did, they'd be on video.
Yeah.
So,
right.
Let's hope not, though.
Right. It's funny. Oops. Then now they know we're here. Huh? Ooh, it was on. I hope it's not dead. Good morning.
Good.
This is Stockton Blind Alliance out here for the 17th time since May 17th in front of Community Center for the Blind and Visually Impaired, Stockton. We are asking for a change in leadership, a genuine change in leadership. This executive director needs to resign now. The board president needs to resign now. The board treasurer threw himself in that camp last week by walking by without identifying us and saying shame, shame, shame to intimidate us, without speaking to us, without trying to address our concerns. These three need to go. Anyone left with a conscience needs to stand up and correct this situation, encourage them to leave now, and work with us to make this a place that is appropriate for and inclusive of the blind of the greater San Joaquin County area.
That's right.
Our phone number is 209-200-8589. Our Gmail is StocktonBlindAlliance@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube at Stockton Blind Alliance. Please listen to our concerns. We're just asking people to listen to the blind. We're tired of being ignored by this place that is supposedly serving the blind, that will not include us in the process, that abuses us and shuts us down at every turn. We tried to meet with them for years with no results. We had to go public starting August of 2021 with a letter to the editor, and they are not responsive. They are not transparent. They are not accountable. No. We need a change.
That's right.
Be open.
Be kind. and listen to the blind. Be open, be kind, and listen to the blind. Be open, be kind, and listen to the blind. Be open, be kind, and listen to the blind.
Fix the
Blind center. The blind deserve better. Fix the blind center. The blind deserve better. Fix the blind center. The blind deserve better. Fix the blind center. The blind deserve better.
Your taxes,
Donations support blind degradation. Your taxes, donations support blind degradation. Your taxes, donations support blind degradation.
Your
Taxes, donations support blind degradation.
We want a blind center that is full of robust programs, full of the blind of all ages, letting us mingle, mentor, and support each other. We don't want a few virtual services that are only geared toward what can be funded by Department of Rehabilitation, and we want quality services. We want the blind to be part of Community Center for the Blind. Right now, there are no clients in here, and there is no community. A sense of community has been lacking for years, and we are trying to bring that back. Yes. We are tired of being abused, yes, mocked, put down, ignored, called simple, called high maintenance if we actually have goals for ourselves.
That's right.
We want service.
Yes.
This place says they have services people can take or leave. That's not right.
No.
That's right.
It is supposed to be for the blind. We are the blind speaking for ourselves, saying what is needed.
Yes.
And we are not being heard.
Yes.
We want a safe place where we can bring our concerns, where they don't go into a black hole, where if you have a complaint, it's considered, quote, bullying or, quote, harassing, and their bylaw says the president can discard it without sharing it with the rest of the board. That is what has been happening to our concerns.
Yeah.
We ask you to amplify our voices by contacting board@communitycenterfortheblind.org, yeah, and asking them to listen to the blind. Now, that board president will be the one getting that email, and probably the executive director.
Correct.
But at least in volume, there will be a record that they are ignoring you also.
Yeah.
We know they've been ignoring us.
Yeah.
That's right.
We are just disgusted by the lack of this board's doing their fiduciary responsibilities and being accountable and doing their job to serve the blind, to listen to us, to help us when we do not feel safe bringing forth concerns to them. They are always telling us, who said that? Well, it's because they want to target people.
That's right.
It's not because they want to genuinely address these concerns. We have people that have had all kinds of episodes happen to them here. They don't feel safe. They've had them laughed off. They've had them ignored. They've had them questioned and grilled and put the offense on them instead of the offender. You're not treating the victimized here. We are not victims. We will stand up and we will speak out.
That's right.
There are people that can't speak out because they have fear.
Yeah.
They have intimidation.
Yeah.
They have a lack of responsiveness here. They know that services are held over their head. Their jobs are held over their head. Constantly reminded it's an at-will work atmosphere here, and you can be let go for any reason. You do not need to be micromanaged and hung over all the time, criticized, thrown under the bus, and trashed in front of your fellow workers or the clients.
Yeah.
That is a toxic workplace.
Yes,
that is a toxic environment, and that is bullying, and that is what is going on at Community Center for the Blind.
Yeah.
Please help us be heard.
Help us.
That's right.
Tell us where the money went. We want a new
board president. Tell us where the money went. We want a new board president. Tell us where the money went. We want a new board president. Tell us where the money went. We want a new board president.
They bully,
hide, and lie. Defund CCBVI. They bully, hide, and lie. Defund CCBVI. They bully, hide, and lie. Defund CCBVI. They bully, hide, and lie. Defund CCBVI.
Blind respect they never show.
Tell Harada, hit the road. Blind respect they never show. Tell Harada, hit the road. Blind respect they never show. Tell Harada, hit the road. Blind respect they never show. Tell Harada, hit the road.
We know how they treat clients, volunteers, and staff here. Many of us are former all of those things, and we have all been mistreated. We can answer your questions about what it's like to be behind these closed doors.
Yeah, that's right.
Bob only worked here 6 months and got health problems just from the stress of constantly being bullied and watching what happened to his fellow co-workers, hearing how the clients were degraded and disrespected all the time, all the deception that goes on here, all the mistreatment. And he left. We are here supporting him. I had to leave here in 2017 for health reasons and to quit legitimizing this place as their voice to the public. I thought I could help better from the outside. They knew that I was financially dependent on this job, but fortunately, I got married and my husband rescued me from this environment where I could get well and come back out to help people. Yeah. And we are here. We're standing up for Bob.
They made me quit my job.
We're standing up for Bob.
They made me quit my job.
We're standing up for Bob.
They made me quit my job.
We're standing up for Bob.
They made me quit my job.
And COVID's no excuse.
You need to stop the blind abuse. COVID's no excuse. You need to stop the blind abuse. COVID's no excuse. You need to stop the blind abuse. COVID's no excuse. You need to stop the blind abuse.
The blind want
More. Hurry up, unlock your door. The blind want more. Hurry up, unlock your door. The blind want more. Hurry up, unlock your door. The blind want more. Hurry up, unlock your door.
We're Stockton Blind
Alliance.
We're
Standing up to help the clients. Stockton Blind Alliance. We're standing up to help the clients. Stockton Blind Alliance. We're standing up to help the clients. Stockton Blind Alliance. We're standing up to help the clients.
The veil needs to drop. The
Exploitation has to stop. The veil needs to drop. The exploitation has to stop. The veil needs to drop. The exploitation has to stop. The veil needs to drop. The exploitation has to stop.
Let the clients grow.
Administration has to go. Let the clients grow. Administration has to go. Let the clients grow. Administration has to go. Let the clients grow. Administration has to go. Hey, Jen.
Yes.
Question for you. So, how many of each of you are still listed as clients here?
All of us.
I am.
All of you?
Who's had services since a minimum of June a year ago? None of us.
So, but you're still listed as clients, and they still count you as clients for their clout, right?
Yes.
They're using you as, they're like on the news, for instance. They say they serve over 100 clients, but how many of those are active clients?
Right.
And like I asked last week, they may have these clients. What's the success rate?
Right.
Yeah.
Who is having good outcomes for here and not leaving here broken, only being used as a cash cow for the state? Who is supported?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. The client base was small while I was working here. Yep, that's probably about right.
Yeah.
It's probably about right.
I would say between 1 to 3 to 5.
It wouldn't surprise me.
I didn't even get a phone call. How are you? Are you not coming back?
Yeah.
You got a social distancing with the mask?
If they even let you in the building with a pre-approved appointment.
Before you come back, you got to sign this paper. You can't come unless you sign this, their new, what's it called?
Is it like a
handbook.
Oh, really?
You gotta sign it. But if you refuse to sign it, you can't come back.
So that sounds like an NDA.
And only after our 4 months of protesting did they even think about offering a hybrid offering to clients that wasn't something they were getting money from rehab for. But that's their virtual support group, which is not supportive and not a safe environment to share.
It is not.
I know Bob can tell you more about that.
Yes, I can.
Does anybody know that if they met the requirement this last Wednesday for 12 people for the class that they're getting money for?
Not sure.
Probably not.
Yeah, I doubt it. But they finally are trying to offer another class,
about balance, but I know they get subsidized a good amount of money for putting that on, which is their motivation for putting the class on. But we don't know who is participating on that. But I took the class before with Joni. It was a good class, but it was part of a more robust program that included more of the blind and the community. And there is not space here for people to have 12 people plus an instructor and an assistant in that room with social distancing and masks. So I don't know how they're pulling that off, but it's always a contradiction here, and depending on who the audience is.
Right.
Just make sure that, like I was saying about that handbook, either bring someone or just ask to request it to take it home and get it read. Don't just sign something.
Right. You shouldn't have to have a lawyer to acquire services for a center for the blind. This is shameful. The treasurer was out here saying shame, shame, shame. Shame on the center. Shame on the administration for the things that they're doing. Shame on the treatment. They have community on their side, but they don't live by it.
No, not at all.
I moved up.
But yeah, the treasurer said shame, 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 but we know they're the ones to blame.
Right.
Like we said, if you stomach this, you go with the board.
And we've constantly asked them to please show at least the basic etiquette of blindness, like announcing yourself, introducing yourself when you're speaking to blind people. We don't know everyone by their voice, and apparently, especially not when they're hustling by under a mask to try to intimidate us. We thought it was another person off the street because there are plenty of those around the blind center.
Yeah.
We did not know if this was a threat, if they were saying shame to us or shame to the building we were protesting.
Correct.
Luckily, someone with vision was here to identify it was the same person coming back out of their building, and someone else with vision that used to work here, Janet, could identify him as the board treasurer. So we knew that was who had said shame, shame, shame to us.
Yeah.
And David invited him once we knew who it was. You know, Roy, can you please come back over, and don't you want to talk to us? And he gave us dirty looks and pulled off in his car.
Yeah.
They ignore us. They do not respond appropriately. They are not addressing our concerns. No. They're shutting us down, hoping we will go away. Yeah. We don't want to be silenced any longer. There are terrible things that have happened, and you can't just move on from that. You need a new leadership, because this one will not admit what's wrong and change. They have not tried to make any amends for the past abuses, and they have continued them by putting this executive director in a position of power after we've continually reported complaints and incidents of that individual. She continually was promoted. We wrote a letter specifically saying we wanted a part in the process of choosing the new director, vetted with much input from the blind and community stakeholders, because we have been screwed over continually again and again by their poor choices. But they ignored us and put her in that position as permanent director. Yeah. The executive director needs to go. The board president needs to go. And the treasurer needs to go at a minimum. The rest we will work with. Yeah. We want to be part of this process. Yeah. We want services for the blind. Yeah. We don't want an abusive, oppressive environment for the blind. Yeah. And we want better for the blind of the greater San Joaquin County area. So please stand with us.
Yes, they need
We are out here, yes, until 11 a.m. today at 2453 Grand Canal Boulevard, Suite 5. If you can come by and stand with us, or call us, contact us, drive by and honk on your way to lunch. We would appreciate any support. And you can call them and let them know they need to listen to the blind and change. Yeah. The number for Community Center for the Blind is 209-466-3836. And the email address for the board of directors is board@communitycenterfortheblind.org. They are ignoring us. Please help amplify our voices for change.
Yes. Call or email.
Good luck on getting an answer.
Yeah. Right. But you'll see that you are ignored the same way we are. Lots of people know they don't respond. You don't get services in a timely fashion. And this was all way before the pandemic, which is used as an excuse for everything these days.
That's right.
Yeah. Especially here. Only with that pressure of months of protesting and the Department of Rehab leaning on them a little bit did they even start to offer that, quote, hybrid support group that only their hand-picked candidate for their board client representative attended in person. They do not allow actual blind representation. We have a wonderful woman in her 80s, a strong woman with much to give back to this community. We kept asking for representation on their board of directors, being denied. They told her she was a client board representative, but for the third year in a row, they denied her simple accommodations request to be teleconferenced into their annual open meeting.
Yeah.
They just ignored her. Then they answered, the director called her, oh, Yvonne, we're so sorry. I didn't get back to you. Not, we're sorry we didn't include you.
Yeah.
It's all a sham.
Yes.
That's right.
They did not want blind representation.
No.
We had quality candidates come to them and be denied over and over. All of a sudden, there was a cap on how many people could participate in their board of directors.
Yeah.
When we put a lady who's a blind entrepreneur, local businesswoman, has always supported the Blind Center, didn't even have anything bad to say about the Blind Center, forward as a genuine candidate. All of a sudden, there were 3 spots and 4 candidates, and she was not selected last year.
Yeah.
And she had made herself known to them for several years, and they kept saying no one has applied. Yeah. It's a lie. Yeah. They bully, hide, and lie.
Defund CCBVI. They bully, hide, and lie. Defund CCBVI. They bully, hide, and lie. Defund CCBVI. They bully, hide, and lie. Defund CCBVI.
Bully, lie, and hide. Defund CCBVI.
That's right.
That's right.
They made Bob quit his job.
Yes.
We're standing up for Bob.
They made
standing
me.
up.
We're standing up for Bob.
They made me quit my job.
We're standing up for Bob.
They made me quit my job.
We're standing up for Bob.
They made me quit my job.
Blind respect they never
Show,
show.
tell her right to hit the road. Blind respect they never show. Tell her right to hit the road. Blind respect they never show. Tell her right to hit the road. Blind respect they never show. Tell her right to hit the road. Hit the road, Jack.
We want a new board president. Tell us
That's where the money went. We want a new board president. Tell us where the money went. We want a new board president. Tell us where the money went. We want a new board president. Tell us where the money went.
And a new board treasurer. Maybe he can answer that question. Where we
Correct.
had a building that was donated to
He
us.
had an opportunity to answer our question.
Yeah.
He just walked away.
He ignored us on camera on September 1st at our last protest.
Gave dirty looks to the clients.
Yeah, dirty looks to blind people. That's just perfect.
Oh yeah, I can tell you stuff.
Yeah, my
It's
son
everywhere.
used to tell me somebody was giving me the bird. I said, what satisfaction do you get flipping off a blind person?
Right?
Apparently the
Right.
same satisfaction this board treasurer of Community Center for the Blind got, giving us dirty looks.
Yeah.
And calling the
Makes
cops.
no
And
sense.
not identifying himself, but telling us shame on us.
Yeah. No
The
sense.
shame is to constantly ignore the blind, not respond appropriately, and try to intimidate us with loss of services, with defamation, going around speaking badly about us. When they do say something to the media, it's no comment or their canned statement, or we're just a bunch of people saying nasty things out here. We know who the nasty things are.
Or we can't discuss personnel issues.
Right.
Yeah.
The personnel issues are a big part of the problem. That's why there's a mass exodus of staff and clients. 5 to 6 people within the last year left, sighted and blind staff, because of the toxic environment. Someone does not feel valued when they're constantly criticized, constantly micromanaged, second guessed, put down in front of their peers, and that's the environment you're coming into. And the Department of Rehab should be ashamed
That's
for
right.
not having a say in this. We are making them aware of these concerns. They want to continue to fund this local vendor when we have pointed out over and over what is wrong. They say they can't do much about the inner workings of an agency, but it bleeds over. They are placing DOR clients here to work. They are placing DOR clients here to train.
Yeah.
We have told them it's a toxic environment.
That's right.
And been very specific. This needs to change.
Yeah.
Agreed. Agreed.
Folks, my name is Clifford Hicks. You may not recognize my voice, so I just want to let you know I'm here.
Good morning.
Welcome, Cliff.
Do you have a sign?
I do.
It's good to see ya.
Funding the CCBVI, those jokers.
Awesome.
Thank you. Cliff is one of our family, friends, and allies from the community that's been showing up regularly. We totally appreciate our family, friends, and supporters giving of their time, giving of their money, their gas, everything to be here. People are sacrificing to be here because they know the effect it has on the blind.
That's right.
They know how important it is for us to have quality services in a safe environment. And that is not what is going on here now behind us in this building. It is a toxic environment. It is a bullying workplace. It is not inclusive of the blind. And we say nothing about us without us.
Nothing about us without us. Nothing about us without us. Nothing about us without us. Nothing. Be kind and listen to the blind. Be open. Be kind and listen to the blind. Be open. Be kind and listen to the blind. Be open. Be kind and listen to the blind.
Fix the blind
Center. The blind deserve better. Fix the blind center. The blind deserve better. Fix the blind center. The blind deserve better. Fix the blind center. The blind deserve better.
Your taxes,
Donations support blind degradation. Your taxes, donations support blind degradation. Your taxes, donations support blind degradation. Your taxes, donations support blind degradation.
Blind respect they
You never show. Tell Harada, hit the road. Blind respect you never show. Tell Harada, hit the road. Blind respect they never show. Tell Harada, hit the road. Blind respect they never show. Tell Harada, hit the road.
We want a new board president.
Tell us where the money went. We want a new board president. Tell us where the money went. We want a new board president. Tell us where the money went. We want a new board president. Tell us where the money went.
The treasurer should be able to answer that question. He just threw himself in the camp of definitely anti-blind last week when he walked by without identifying himself and told us shame, 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 and did not accept David's offer to come up and talk and work things out like adults. They bully, hide, and lie. They ignore us constantly. This is why we had to go public. We've been trying to handle things diplomatically for years and been shut down, ignored, and the abuse has continued. It needs to stop.
That's right.
COVID is no excuse.
You need to stop the blind abuse. COVID's no excuse. You need to stop the blind abuse. COVID's no excuse. You need to stop the blind abuse. COVID's no excuse. You need to stop the blind abuse.
COVID is no excuse.
That's right.
At all.
We used to enjoy our building at 130 West Flora Street. That was a restricted donation, as we were told by Bonnie Hamma and company back in the early 2000s. If that changed, we don't know how they managed to secretly sell the building out from under us. You know, the last executive director, Michelle Galvin, was set on moving us to this North Stockton cramped office. So they left that abandoned for 4 years from 2016 until they secretly sold it in January of 2020. Promising we'd be back when the neighborhood got a little better. Ignoring our requests for updates on the status of the building. We knew it was getting broken into by the homeless. We knew that they had said clients could have first dibs on some of the things that were for sale there, some of the equipment that organizations from the community had donated, like perfectly equipped stoves that were accessible to the blind. We were not notified about the sale of those items. They sold some handheld magnifiers, which go for at least $60 each, for 50 cents each, as one of our members found out from their eye doctor, who was just giddy at the fact that he had gotten them for 50 cents each. They could have come to this new center to serve the blind. How can they justify that? They got rid of so many things that could have been used by the blind and used here, and they left that building sitting there while they paid thousands of dollars a month on this rented, cramped office that nobody wanted to come to. A few brave blind clients did a small protest, and the police were instantly called on them in 2016 because Michelle Galvin did not want anyone to know. She was so paranoid. She was trying to protect her reputation at all costs. Well, we know now that's probably why she quit in October of last year. We didn't hear why she left. There were no apologies or explanations. But we finally had to go public in August of last year, 2021, with a letter to the editor. And by October, she had quit. And this executive director, Elsie Harada, was placed as interim director. And over our objections, made permanent. We need a change in leadership, and we need a true change in leadership. We need new blood in this board of directors.
That's right.
We want an investigation into the misconduct that has gone on here for years. We want an independent forensic audit of how the monies have been spent to best serve the blind, and where the money has gone from the secret sale of our building in 2020, January, that we finally were told June 8th, 2021. It was sold in January of 2020, as anyone who looks online could tell. Wow. That is not transparency, accountability. That is lies, cover up, and that is the status quo here.
Yeah, that's right.
We need that to change. Yes, we need fresh blood. We need fresh leadership. Yes. We need blind people in positions here to influence, because we have the actual lived experience and knowledge, and we actually have a heart and care for the blind.
Yes, we do.
That's right.
We love our friends. We want to help them, support them, and this is what we're doing. Come support us.
You're good.
So, oops, I turned my thing off. You want to say something, Lisa?
Second?
Cliff or Lisa, you want to talk?
She's down there.
Down the road? Okay.
You
want to say something, David?
Oh, no.
You want to chime in? I'll talk.
If not,
one of our successful programs that we did start at Community Center for the Blind at the old Flora Street location. Thanks to David Vigil here, he had a dream for something better for the blind. He made a campaign to get a beep baseball team, baseball for the blind, going. Yeah. And that's been going on for 20 years, but not thanks to the Blind Center. Originally, they were supportive until it was one of the programs and services they could hold over our head and use to intimidate us, and they wanted to shut us down. So instead of saying, oh, we can no longer sponsor this, or, can you find someone else nonprofit status, they tried to kill the program. They locked our 8-year-old moldering equipment up in a shed and said, you can't use the team name anymore. She thought we would go away. Yeah. We didn't go away. We've outlasted her. Yeah. We are going on 20 years. Yeah. We include the blind and sighted in a positive activity that's good for your social, mental, recreational, and physical development. Yes. We build positive bonds between the blind and sighted community. We reach out to our youth so that we can mentor them, help them grow up strong. We're not getting paid to do that. Yeah. We don't care, because we have a heart for the blind, but they are getting paid here. And where is that money going?
That's right.
Tell us where the money went.
We want a new board president. Tell us where the money went. We want a new board president. Tell us where the money went. We want a new board president. Tell us where the money went. We want a new board president.
And as for that executive director that we have tried to speak to many, many, many times, she needs to go. Elsie Harada needs to go.
That's right.
Blind respect they never show.
Tell Harada, hit the road. Blind respect they never show. Tell Harada, hit the road. Blind respect they never show. Tell Harada, hit the road. Blind respect they never show. Tell Harada, hit the road.
Yes, and we want services here for the blind. We want a center. We don't have to reinvent the wheel if we don't have to reinvent the wheel. Yeah. But if these problematic people will not resign or will not get investigated and removed by someone with the power to do so, we need help. We are, a small minority. The blind are even a minority in the disabled community. Yeah. But we are passionate about helping our own. Yeah. We are passionate about helping anyone else. Yeah. We don't see you differently just because your eyes do work or don't work. We care about people. We know what it's like to be marginalized, intimidated, shut down, and ignored. Yeah. We have a heart for you. Please stand with us and call for the removal of these people that continue to abuse and disserve the blind. Yeah.
Right.
We know staff, volunteers, clients, and community partners have all been treated badly by this place. Yes, they have. And there are so many stories. A lot of the people have passed away because this has been going on for so long. Yes. But if you want to share in our advocacy, we are here for you. Yes. Please be here for us if you can help in any way. We want more people out here with us. We don't want to have to continue being out here protesting. We want these changes to happen so the blind can be served in the best way possible. We want to be part of that process. We are not tearing it down. We are building it up. We just need the head cut off of this corpse so that it can revive and serve the blind.
That's right.
And what kind of place would not want to come out and speak with us? When I called Roy that last time, he should have come out and talked with us.
That's right.
They have no wants or nothing to come out and speak with us about. They just want to ignore us and keep treating us the same way they've treated us for decades. And it's not fair. That's why we need your guys' help with the number or emails or whatever.
It is not fair. We thank the Record for coming out, running our letters to the editor, 2 of them now, and coming out to cover us with an article. We thank S&J Associates for coming out to do an interview with us and covering our protest and continuing to be supportive, because they know, they have actually spoken to us. They know we have things to do in our lives, but this is so important to us. We are here taking this time each week, trying to slowly spread this awareness the best way we can with the tools we have. We have, thank God, talented people like Bob with his multimedia talents, you know, with his writing and all of his talents that he's using, and that we have some social media skills, and that we have people with a passion to help get the word out. We can't do everything. That's why we are asking the public for help. If there's someone that can help us, you know, uncover what happened with this donation that we've always thought and understood and were told was restricted, how it could be sold, our old building, how they could just disregard that it was designated for the purpose of housing, keeping the blind, when it was twice the size of this, when it had a backyard, a training kitchen, a training apartment, a hall for activities and events, you know, weaving, ceramics, all this stuff that we used to have. Our family and friends could be part of it. And if you include the family and friends of the blind, you're more likely to have a support base, because they know and believe and can see in the lives and the emotions of the people that are being served that they are benefiting.
That's right.
You might not see that now. If you see blind people in the community, it's like we're from the National Federation of the Blind walking in the 4th of July parade, or having a white cane walk, or serving blind youth, you know, with picnics or backpacks or donations that we've raised ourselves. Don't confuse that with Community Center for the Blind.
Never.
It has nothing to do with them. The Stockton Stingrays baseball team, they cut ties with us in 2011. You know, that has nothing to do with Community Center for the Blind by their choice and their enmity towards our members. So, you know, I know when people think blind, they think CCBVI, Community Center for the Blind, but the blind are not tied to this.
They don't get the hard work we're doing out there supporting the blind. They don't deserve our credit.
Please don't credit this to their account until they deserve it, and they are supportive of the blind once again.
That's right.
Because that's the whole reason why we have our banners. It doesn't say Community Center for the Blind. It says other organizations. You know, I'm not saying people are idiots and don't know how to read, but it does not have a banner. They're not out there. They're not walking with us. They're more like against us.
That's right.
And we do a lot of positive things in this community. We are on other boards in other organizations, in city council, all kinds of things that we have taken part of regularly. We've gone to those meetings. We've gone to the Board of Supervisors meeting. We know some of the people are evaluating the best way they can help. They say they don't directly fund this place. They're trying to think of other ways they can be supportive. But at least people are continuing to look, and that gives us hope. If we have someone that could help us, you know, volunteer to do that forensic audit of this place. They say, oh, we get an audit, you know, every so often. That's just Department of Rehab for their services. That is not a full independent forensic audit of how these monies have been spent. When I started at the center in '99, everyone was talking about the financial misappropriations by that operations manager, Bonnie Hama, besides her abuse, mistreatment, and harassment of the blind. And so David and I and a couple staff that had just left that were able to speak up worked our way into a board of directors meeting when they were actually held at night in the evening, and people could get on the agenda to speak, which hasn't been the case since then. We went and addressed those concerns, and unfortunately they didn't go anywhere. But we still spoke up, even though we were intimidated, even though it was hard to do. I couldn't even, read Braille or anything at the time, so I had written out some huge print notes that I was trying to shove up to my nose. I couldn't really read them. I did my best. I didn't email at the time or anything, so I don't have records from that meeting, but I can testify to that. And some of those found people are still on this board of directors, which is a shame.
Shame.
Yeah, that is the shame. Now, the board president and treasurer came on roughly around 2009, I would say. And it has been all shame since then. Shame. Against their will, they finally, when we brought our EEOC complaints, when we talked about the constant abuses, when we had independent corroboration from professionals in the community, like the mediator, the operations manager brought in supposedly to try to help with the concerns, but who she wanted to rat out the employees, and anyone who had a problem was told there's the door. She would not go along with that employee. She had a conscience. She came into our staff meeting and showed us the signed contract, and the operations manager said, well, it wasn't really a board decision. I just had Judy Howell, the president, sign it, because she had to sign the check. What are you doing without your board of directors' knowledge, or was that even true? And if that service was so needed, when you canned this woman and did not follow through on your obligation to her contract because she had a conscience, you did not look for another person to bring in. That just went away, and we continued to be abused until finally, in 2013, we started bringing to your attention again after we licked our wounds and tried to recover and couldn't stand it any longer. A few of us came back to you and said, Bonnie Hammond needs to go. And you resent us for making you do your jobs and get rid of her. And instead of having her investigated, fired, arrested, whatever was applicable, you didn't want the community to know there was a problem. And to add insult to injury, you let her go with a nice retirement package instead of firing her.
Yeah, that's right.
And how are we supposed to recover from that? She laughed off when we complained about instances of sexual harassment, or blamed us, acted like we were whores or victims, just wanting attention. That is not a safe environment. No. And that continues. Who feels safe to share something like that with this board of directors when they're constantly questioning you? Instead of saying, oh my gosh, how can we help you? Did this really happen to you? There is no support here. There's no safe environment. And in disabled communities and in the blind community, there is a big amount of sexual harassment and misconduct toward the disabled community, greater than in the regular community. And it is not a safe place here. We can tell you that.
That's right.
It's not.
We can tell you that.
Call the cops on us against Narada.
Right.
They'll come help us. We need their help.
Right. The Blind Center called
the cops. We don't care. We'll never stop. The Blind Center called the cops. We don't care. We'll never stop. The Blind Center called the cops. We don't care. We'll never stop.
The Blind
Center called the cops. We don't care. We'll never stop.
They need to be investigated, not us. They are the bullies and harassers, not us. They keep trying to label us. We are out here because we have endured so much. We are trying to care and defend people that are currently being abused and people that will come into this environment and try to heal these sins of the past that have been perpetrated upon us with the blessing of this president, this board of directors. There are some newer people, but we know we forced a few of them into face-to-face meetings. They could have had a lot shielded from them, but they have to know there are problems. They have a conscience. They need to stand up and speak out instead of being bullied by the treasurer, the president, and whoever continues to tell them how to tote the line. They need to care for the blind. They need to ask what has happened to us here, why we are out here.
That's right.
To be honest,
they need to care.
I think Michelle left with the package too.
Wouldn't be surprised. Like a severance package?
Oh,
yeah, I'm sure.
That's why she gone too.
Yep.
We found out during one of our things she wasn't a 5-year contract. She wasn't.
Right. When we were asking, when we started this up again with the board in 2018, because they had canceled the transportation program, in the same day they held a meeting. And how are these blind people that never had training to come from Tracy, Escalon, some are all of a sudden able to come when the van program was canned on the same day? That was our first offense that revived us to start trying to communicate with these people. How many years We emailed, corresponded, tried to get them to sit down for meetings.
Yeah.
It did not work.
Never.
We are continually ignored. And then it's not bullying and harassing to keep bringing the same concerns forward that are not addressed,
That's
that
right.
are not fixed, that nothing has changed, and we are not included in the process. Then you can discard our communications. That's what you are already doing.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you misspoke, Judy, by saying that was a bylaw you added, because, we can request your bylaws from the IRS and see if that is updated on there. If you meant policy or some other word, you misspoke. But how dare you say you amend your bylaws that you can discard anything without sharing it with the board? We know you're not subject to the Brown Act, but you do have a fiscal and fiduciary and a human responsibility to serve the blind, to be truthful, to put your conflicts of interest aside.
Yeah.
And if you hate the blind, like we can hear in your voice when you speak to us,
That's right.
you need to leave.
Yeah.
You need to leave. You need to not jump down our throat when we ask for common decency, like to identify yourself before speaking. Say, you know my voice. Well, I might know some of the board members' voice. I don't even know all of them. And there were new people in that meeting and people that haven't had to hear you all these years. It is just common courtesy, and we shouldn't be questioned at every turn when we politely ask for you to be polite to the blind.
Yeah.
That's right.
To say, be open, be kind, and listen to the blind.
Yeah.
It's a simple request. Be transparent.
Yeah.
Keep your doors open, and let it be a safe place for the blind to come, mingle, and support each other as they learn, as they grow.
Yeah.
That is not what's going on now, and we need a change.
Yeah.
That's right.
Karada.
Yes. Blind respect you never show.
Tell her right, hit the road. Blind respect you never show. Tell her right, hit the road. Blind respect you never show. Tell her right, hit the road. Blind respect you never show. Tell her right, hit the road.
Don't come back no more.
The treasurer said, shame, shame, shame. Shame on him because he's to blame. Treasurer said, shame, shame, shame.
Shame on him because he's to blame. Treasurer said, shame, shame, shame. Shame on him for he's to blame. Treasurer said, shame, shame, shame. Shame on him for he's to blame.
Tell us where that money went. Treasurer, tell us where that money went.
He knows all about it.
Secretary, tell us where that money went. Judy Howe, board president, who has been there over 12 years, over that operations manager, Bonnie Hama, over that executive director, Michelle Galvin, and now with your blessing, Elsie Harada, who we asked you not to put in this position. She's also the case manager. That is the place to come in contact with vulnerable clients. Clients who don't know, they're going to be called high maintenance if they have any expectations. They want you to be grateful for the crumbs. You want the services they have, and that's it. Take it or leave it. That is not how it should be.
She should leave it.
And especially how you're deserving the students in this local area.
That's right.
And when someone tried to bring it to your attention here, then all of a sudden there's emails trying to copy to the supervisors there to get that individual in trouble, lying and saying he's bullying and harassing you when he's sharing concerns and suggestions for improvement. That is bullying and harassing.
That's right.
We know how you deserve the students here. A college-bound senior who's blind. You're going to save the Department of Rehab a little money by overriding the decision of the teacher of the visually impaired and your adaptive technology instructors to give him a PC instead of a laptop. Is he supposed to lug that around the campus in the other arm from his cane and plug it in every classroom?
Right.
There's at least 4 examples of this. You, director, have no background in assessments or technology. You should not be teaching.
Or be a director.
You should not be a director. And you should not be having anything to do with the clients. You need to go. We are told over and over how intimidating, harassing, bullying, and inappropriate you are, and the board won't listen. Well, we are telling the public now, we need help getting these changes here. They won't listen to us. We don't know how else to do this. We need a lawyer to volunteer to help us. We need someone with a CPA or someone that can audit to help us. We need someone to help us. Please reach out at 209-200-8589 or StocktonBlindAlliance@gmail.com. You can find our accounts on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter. Stockton Blind
See,
Alliance.
we won't throw our emails away. We'll answer it as well as possible as we can, and
That's right.
honestly as well. Phone call too. We will get back to you. We will not ignore you.
Yeah.
We will get us back as soon as possible.
And even text the board member. What was that email again, Jennifer?
board@communitycenterfortheblind.org. You can tell them what you think of the way they're treating the blind, that they should listen to the blind, and who needs to go. At a minimum, this executive director, this board president, and this board treasurer.
Yeah. Ask them why they won't talk to us.
Matter of fact, Janet's been emailing that she's not getting good response.
Right. We have a former sighted employee here who, they always say the social and recreational programs cost too much money. They have been trying to get rid of them for years. The pandemic opened up that door and that excuse. They'd already cut them immensely since moving us from the old center. But, she was like, she could have done virtual things with the clients to make us feel connected, played games, anything.
Yes.
They could have kept her on to actually serve us, but they offered no virtual services forever during the pandemic. Months and months went by. Then they thought maybe, 8 or 9 months later, they might train us on Zoom, the people that didn't know how to use it, or after about 5 or 6 months, how to, virtually shop. I think we would all starve to death by then if we weren't helping each other and those less fortunate. I feel sorry for the people out there who were waiting for services that don't know how to, use an Instacart account, for example, because everything was shut down.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you shut down your heart to the community you're supposed to serve. You're supposed to, reach out for ideas, for suggestions.
Yeah.
Maybe you could have said, we don't know how to do this, but, you are blind. You actually have lived experience in this. Can you help? How can we set up a support group that is for the purpose of helping? We did do that through our National Federation of the Blind chapter here.
Yeah.
We help other people.
Yeah.
We are there to help, and you can reach out to that group anytime for services. But like we said, they're getting paid here to do it, and they are not doing it. They're counting people that aren't being served in their numbers to make them look good, but it's all a sham.
Yeah.
It's like a whitewashed grave full of dead man's bones.
That's right.
So if they get new people and are convincing you to join, that's the reason why they want to count you as that money dollar. So
that's it.
Just have a second thought of joining and watch our videos, watch us on Facebook, and learn. Don't just say, yeah, it sounds good. They know how to manipulate people.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the client stories on their website and photos are years and years old. The same client stories have been since before the pandemic on their website. I guess they have nothing new to brag about.
Right.
And you would think they would have doctored that up, but no. No. I know the staff here, there are no staff here currently that we have an issue with. We are not talking about the staff. We are talking about the administration and the board of directors.
That's right.
We don't even know the new staff to have a problem with them or not. We haven't been introduced. We haven't been introduced to the 3 new people added to the board of directors.
Yeah.
We don't even know if any of them are visually impaired or not. We believe one of them might be, since he's one of those client stories they engineered and put on the website for years.
Yeah.
And we don't even know if they're still part of it.
We don't even know.
Yeah.
Because they don't have public board meetings. They say they're a private, independent, nonprofit, not accountable to anybody, don't have to have open meetings.
Yeah.
They grudgingly said they went from our meetings with them that they would start having an open annual meeting each May, which was virtual, which you could not participate in. On a Zoom meeting, they have chat turned off. You can't raise your hand.
Not accessible for...
Yeah, no accommodations made, although they have a conference call system here because for their support group, they admitted that a lot of blind people might not be able to use the technology of Zoom, so they had a simple, dedicated 10-digit phone number phone-in support group. But they will not use that for that open annual meeting, and they will not include people such as Yvonne, their client board representative. They said they will use Zoom, and they will not be available to offer any assistance on that day. And you have to jump through all these hoops to maybe, participate to get the link for that info. And it's all buried on an internal calendar on an internal page of the website. So it's supposed to be an open meeting to the public. I bet none of you have ever seen it. It's not in their newsletter. They don't put it out on the record or even on the front page of their website saying, please join us for our open annual meeting. They haven't done an annual report, which they never did before, except, back in the early 2000s when we had a decent director. We told them that this was common practice to have your financials and an annual report up on their website. So they tried to do that for a few years. There isn't one for 2021. And that was the dog and pony show they rolled out at this open annual meeting. The first time they said they would take questions in advance, and if they fit the agenda, which came out later, that they might cover them at the meeting. They just did their little canned response thing. There was no give and take, no interaction. You cannot raise your hand. You couldn't even raise your hand to say there's people in the waiting room that you haven't admitted. It was a sham, another sham. They offer to do something in a token gesture to try to shut people up, but it's not genuine. They don't follow through if they respond at all. And this is what we've been dealing with for years.
Yeah.
Yep.
Seems like they always told the board members not to have conversations with the clients as well.
Right.
And so far, so we couldn't have any dialogue with each other. But for what reason is that? Why can't people just be nice? There was a president of the Stockton, Mega Stockton, that was nice a while back. I don't know if he's still on the board, but he used to talk to us, and he give his say hi and all that, excited to see the clients and stuff like that, and maybe a few others. But basically, it sounds like they don't even want them to associate with.
They got pushed out by Michelle Galvin because she didn't want anyone from the old regime here when she took over. Yeah, Bill Reynolds. Yeah. He was a decent man, and he was one of the ones Michelle waited till he was on vacation out of the country to push through her vote to rent this North Stockton office instead of our building.
Wow.
So, he is a decent human being, and there were some, and there might be some on there still. We don't even know. They've been walled off forever. We, with much insistence, got a few of them in front of us on some virtual meetings, one in-person meeting.
Or just sat there and
two.
looked at us.
Yeah, the first one here in May of 2019, they just sat and stared at us, did not respond to our questions.
Yeah.
And said at the beginning, there's half an hour, people can speak for 2 minutes. They set a timer. They sat there silently, and at the beginning it was said that people will get back to you with their responses later, which they never did.
No.
So we pushed for a meeting in August of 2019, which was over here at the Hilton. And that's where we were offended over and over again, jumping down our throats. I turned my head to the right to ask Peggy if she had a question or wanted to add to what I was saying. And the board president yelled at me, "Are you saying no, Jennifer?" And I was like, no, I was turning my head to ask Peggy if she had something to add to the conversation.
Wow.
But they're just ready to jump down our throats. You can hear the anger. We can't see, but we can hear.
That's right.
We can hear your throat vibrating with rage when you speak to us.
Yeah.
We don't need to see the dirty looks on the treasurer's face to know he was giving them to us as he got in his car.
Right.
Also, the note of that, the day at the Hilton, Judy said this will be the last meeting. And we're like, why? Give us a reason why. She said, we don't need to meet again. This is going to be our last and final one. And our president at the time said no. He said he actually stuck up for that situation, right, Jennifer?
Yeah. There are unresolved concerns here. We went through a few agenda items, but we are not going to be sent away. This is something that needs a constant watchdog process until it's fixed.
That's right.
So we finally pressured them into some more virtual meetings, but like I said, nothing has changed. We tried to bring everything to the table. That's why we're out here. We're not out here as a first resort to protest. This is a last resort, and we are praying that the public will care enough to let us have the backing to make this independent, private, nonprofit think there's someone out there they're accountable to.
We also went through our state California president to help us out too, but that didn't resolve anything. Our NFB, we try to have other people help us, but that didn't resolve. It seemed like
we've gone through every route.
Yeah. It seemed like the president and Michelle Galvin became good friends.
Yeah.
Somehow, I don't know. I'm just assuming.
Of the state,
It's just hard because they put on this fake front to people, and you try to be pleasant and negotiate with them, and the whole time you're being deceived and stabbed in the back. And we see that over and over again.
Yeah.
We know people that actually take time to listen to us see that we have genuine concerns. There are people throughout this community. Like I said, when I quit here in 2017, I was the outreach and marketing person you know, I was one of the faces of the center. People see me or Joni Bauer and they think of the Blind Center, but they don't know what was going on behind those doors. No. So, you know, when I go out to say this is what's going on, people will believe me. But I did not trash the organization. I did not speak badly about them, although I was accused of it constantly, and everyone here was walled off for me until they were intimidated or questioned if they even spoke to me. I was totally isolated because I was one of the few barriers between administration and staff, or administration and clients, for the abuse going on here. Yeah. That was too much to hold. Yeah. And I knew I could help better from the outside. As soon as I could think about affording to do that, I did. Yeah. But they do not want to resolve these problems. We tried to do it in many peaceful ways. I just tried to bring what the client's concerns were. Yeah. And she didn't want to hear it because it wasn't a yes ma'am. Yes, right. Ma'am. Yeah. That's all they want here.
That's right.
And that is not how you thrive and grow as a business of any kind. And to lie, to go to the Commission on Aging meeting and be questioned about, you know, your place being called a toxic environment in the public, to say you've heard nothing like this, Executive Director Elsie Harada, is a lie. Yeah. You've been in meetings with us. You followed the Blind Alliance Facebook page for months. You might have unfollowed it now, but we have proof.
Yep.
There is no lying. To say that's just some disgruntled people saying nasty things out front. You are not reaching out. If you really were under Michelle and had to act the way you acted for some reason because you were personally intimidated, then as soon as she was gone, you should have repented, you should have apologized, you should have turned around 180 degrees and made a change. You have done none of those things, so you need to go.
Yep, she could have said, you know what, I'm walking everybody to the center. I want to inform myself. I want changes. What can I do? I'm not intimidated by nobody. I'm the head director of this place. No, she could come out right now and she tried to speak to us. None of us will have no changes back there that she needs to go.
Yeah, right.
Because
but she hasn't.
It's going to be a year in October. And to say lies and say you don't know what's going on. Yeah. We're literally outside your building.
They bully, hide, and lie.
Defund CCBVI. They bully, hide, and lie. Defund CCBVI. They bully, hide, and lie. Defund CCBVI. They bully, hide, and lie. Defund CCBVI.
You know perfectly well what our concerns are. You've been in those meetings since 2018. We know that you've seen all the communications to the board and are privy to them. And Michelle was too. There are no secrets here about what our concerns are. So we haven't gone into every detail because there's not enough trust there to say some of the things that have happened to us. Yeah. We're speaking up more about them now, but we shouldn't have to publicly air some of the things that have happened to us. There's no concern for us and our well-being here. We originally asked to meet with the board without the executive director president, and they ignored us. Yeah. They ignored our request. They dishonored it. Yeah. They brought her anyway when we said the case manager, who is now the director, and the executive director, please don't have them at this meeting. We need to share concerns. Yeah. They disregarded us as they always have. Yeah. And we still brought some of those concerns in front of them because our intent was to move this forward and make things work. Yeah. They don't care. No. Please make them care. Make them leave. Put people here that care about the blind, that will help the blind. We will be part of the process. Whether we are paid or not, we are always here helping the blind. Yeah. That's right. And we want services for the blind, not services for people sitting in offices sucking off the DOR cash cow.
That's right. You mind if I say something?
Yeah. We have a couple more volunteers. We have Luis Lopez.
Hey. Welcome.
Here. Miguel Mendez is here.
Welcome.
Right. We have a couple more signs, Luis, by the...
He has one, Jennifer. Okay.
You mind if I speak, Jen?
One left in the bag.
Yeah, you want that?
Sure, please.
Okay, what's going on? I hope I didn't spit on it. I tried to wipe.
No worries. All right. Mr. Loudmouth is here. So,
hello.
I worked here for about 6 months, starting in October of last year. And I got to see what this place was like on the inside. It makes me wonder how many other relationships we're like what this place is during the pandemic. It looks great on the outside, but behind closed doors, it's entirely something different. This is a place that bashes on clients and staff. A place that treats the people who they are supposed to serve as though they are inferior beings. Elsie Hirata, I'm calling you out. You said that you didn't know about the stuff that's going on, but I'm one of the admins of the Facebook page, and I saw you follow. I have a screenshot of it. You can't hide it. You can't hide it. Your employees are not making a livable wage while you're pulling in about 75 grand a year.
For what?
For what? For what? You say you have 100 clients. What is your success rate? How many people have honestly and sincerely went on from this place to find gainful employment compared to the number that have walked away, broken and torn to pieces because they were treated like trash by someone from their own community who acted like they cared, who threw the word family out like it was free candy? But you don't live by that word. See, that's the thing. You talk the talk, but you don't walk the walk.
Right.
Get up on your feet and walk that walk. Start caring for the community. You have community on that sign. You say clients first, but you expect the staff, any of the staff that's in here, who hears my voice right now, you know what I'm talking about. They say clients first until they want you to do something for them, and then they'll have you reschedule a client. They'll take clients' training time and shift it over to a workshop so that they can get money and say that that is part of the client training. How is that helping the client? See, this is a place that's supposed to be about the clients, not about the money, 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 money. Anybody remember Ted DiBiase and WWF days? See, those wrestlers, yeah, they're about the money, but this is not WWF. This is a community center for the blind, not a place where the blind leadership slaughters their own community for their own benefit and gain.
The employees here are a lot of those people that walked away broken because they were not gainfully employed, and that couldn't last because of the toxic environment. We've lost 5 to 6 people just in the last year, blind and sighted, that couldn't stand to be here.
I'll tell you a little story because I take part in broadcasting on YouTube with my fiance. Now, there are people who live in ignorance, and there are people who live with malice. Over the past couple months, I've had some supposed creators out there on that platform send some nasty messages. I've got a slew of them, even yesterday. If you're blind, blah, blah, blah. If you're blind, blah, blah, blah. That, folks, is malice. Ignorance is when you make assumptions without knowledge. Malice is when you act willfully in a malicious way with the knowledge that you have. You're supposed to be a place that serves the blind community, but when you're trashing and bashing the ones you're supposed to serve, when you are stinting the growth of those who have potential, you're acting in malice. When you complain about having to make documents accessible,
Right?
shame on you!
Shame on you.
Shame, shame, shame!
That's right.
You want to walk past us and say shame, shame, shame? Treat your former clients who are expressing their displeasure for your actions like garbage? Throwing the community out on the sidewalk while you have them in your client base and still claim them for your statistics? Shame, shame, shame. You shouldn't have community on your name because the community is out here on the sidewalk, literally kicked to the curb. See, that's not ignorance, Elsie. That's malice. If you don't care about the community, See, we know of people who are in the medical field who are there for the money. They aren't there for the people. When I used to minister with a nursing home ministry years ago, I watched one of the ladies that came to the services that I conduct go to a nursing home, and she passed away not too much further thereafter. You know why? Because there were people in that nursing home who were there for the money. Without compassion, without empathy, people won't thrive. They will die. You have to water a plant. You have to give it proper soil. Nurture it. Give it sunlight, not block that stuff out. And hold off the supply. How many, when you're growing a garden and trying to grow food for your families for enjoyment, sit there and tell your plants, you have to take what I give you.
Right.
Or else I'm going to have to cut you out by the roots. That's malice.
They only grow mushrooms here. They want to keep you in the dark, and they want to feed you manure.
That's right. The fact of the matter is, like I've said before, we're not trying to sink the ship. We're trying to replace the captain.
Yes.
This place has so much potential for the community in the San Joaquin Valley and surrounding areas. But that potential has to be realized.
There's some potentials outside right now.
That's right. The potential that you have kicked to the curb, but you still use them on your client base for your statistics.
Shame.
Shame. And the thing about this is there are some awesome staff members in there. I guarantee you, they're all underpaid. See, in California, low income is considered $100,000 or less a year in most areas.
Wow.
They're not even making close to that. And this is the thing. You expect them to take that as a sacrifice for the privilege of having a job as a blind person. Shame. You do not live up to your name.
Right.
And it's-
Non-profit management is a lot different than for-profit business, but you don't see the difference here.
That's right. You don't see growth. I had a former client who called me in tears because her training was postponed for at least a month and a half to 2 months. She missed out on a job opportunity because of this. Elsie, you know who I'm talking about because you treated her like trash. And she called me in tears. You tried to lie to her about me, but she and I were in contact. Because, see, I took my job seriously. I was grateful for the work, but I was not grateful for you. Right. See, because you can't get away with treating people the way that you do. It won't last long. Because people will eventually speak out. You kicked us to the curb. You make excuses. We're out here right now, but we won't always be. Because we have a heart for the community. We believe in what community stands for. In the edification of others. In the pressing forward and watching others grow and flourish. Working with one client who thought that she would never be able to read with her eyesight and hold a physical book. Or be able to write letters through handwriting. And when she learned to do that, she was in tears. That's what this place is supposed to be about. Edification. Convergence. Not divergence. You cause division when you sow distrust amongst your employees. You destroy the morale. People just come to work because you hold it over their heads about how hard it is to find a job when you're blind. Shame on you.
Shame on you. It all trickles down. Everyone feels it.
Your master's degree means nothing if you don't have a heart to back it up.
Right.
You shouldn't work with people if you don't care about the people who you're supposed to serve. And obviously you don't care. Actions always speak louder than words.
Amen.
When you sit there and say that one of your staff members is slow and takes too long to get things done, behind that person's back.
Right.
When you say that people in a support group who express negative opinions about the center need to be documented and sent straight to you, there's no confidentiality in that support group.
Not to
Shame.
So I have a question. since some of us are client, are we getting document that we're seeking negative about them right now?
Good question.
We're not on the property, so I hope they aren't counting billable hours for us being here.
Right.
We're on the public sidewalk at 2453 Grand Canal Boulevard.
I had to throw that in there.
Bust out that Salesforce. I'm not one of your clients. And what are you going to do? You're going to contact my boss and try to get me fired? Wait a minute. I'm my own boss right now, so give me a call. I probably won't answer because I'm not going to waste my time with people who do not care. And I won't stand for it, neither will anyone out here on this sidewalk. See, because the community is out here.
Right.
And there are some awesome staff members who I'm sure care about their clients. But there are some really shameful administration and board who doesn't. Because it's all about that money, 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 money.
Right.
Can I take this?
Here, you can grab this one.
Oh.
Do you want to speak or?
Yeah.
Here you go.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
It's the same way, Miguel. They're all the same.
Yeah, use
All right.
that one's better.
Oh, cool.
All right. So, the opportunities to stand out here shoulder to shoulder with my brothers and sisters is rare. Chances to come out and do this are scarce, as you all know. And I am so glad, first of all, to be here with you guys and to be within earshot, whether they acknowledge it or not. But we are within earshot of the Community Center for the Blind, corrupt and callous. I would say leaders, but that would imply that there is leadership and that there is positive intention and that there is progress and that there is advancement. All of these things do not apply in this environment. This is an environment that is toxic. This is an environment that is corrosive by design. It is deliberately so. What's interesting is that I don't have recent stories to share. I do not have intimate interactions or conversations with any of the people who currently are employed here or who serve on the board. However, Bob shares his knowledge and his recent experience, and it is 100% identical to that which I observed many years ago. 10 years ago, the story was the same. 20 years ago, the story was the same. Years before that, as I was growing up, I remember being a child here and having positive experiences with the people that I interacted with for summer programs. But beyond that, the toxicity was not too far away, and even at 8, 9, 10, I can detect hints of bad energy that have continued to be here and have not just continue to be present, but have actually taken over. That is the atmosphere that prevails at this facility. It was the facility's atmosphere at the other location as well, unfortunately, even though it had a lot more to offer in terms of an actual building. But that particular atmosphere was the prevailing atmosphere. That was the environment that older men and women, folks who are 65, 70, 80, 85, 90 are supposed to learn in and grow in and get accustomed to doing things non-visually, to come to believe that it is respectable to be a blind person, that it is empowering to learn skills that are particularly taught to blind people. You believe that these folks are going to benefit from these types of lessons in an environment where blind people are talked down to and shunned and lied to and harmed and insulted. That is not what blind people here, mostly seniors, because let me pause for a moment and explain something. blindness affects people of all ages. There are blind infants, blind children. I actually lost my vision as a child gradually, and now I'm pretty much completely blind. But most people who are blind are your mother, your grandmother, your grandfather. They're older individuals, and many who can hear this will yourselves, if you are blessed to live long enough to enjoy this wonderful world. To a wonderful age, you yourself will experience vision loss and blindness, and it is definitely not the end of a fantastic life. Let me tell you, I'm living it and I'm loving it. But I need you to know that if you are taught to become a productive blind person, an independent blind person, a happy blind person, if that is your intention, if that is what public funds and private funds are hoping happens, and they send you to the community center for the blind, it's a foregone conclusion. I can tell you what's going to happen, and that is that you will wish that you had never come.
That's right.
Unfortunately, that is what will happen. That is what happened 10 years ago. Let me tell you something. I remember about 10 years ago, I came. I was a volunteer for a good while, and then after that, I remember coming to socialize with folks who were clients, and to just generally just empower people, overall. And I would spend some time here, and I didn't interact with the staff very much because we were on totally different pages. They had no interest in furthering, the feeling of empowerment and positivity and camaraderie. They were not into that.
I remember your cane was getting in the way.
I was going to say that, and I remember that I was walking with my cane, and I was chastised. I was yelled at. I was told to sit down, and I said, why do I need to sit down? And they said, your cane.
Oh my God.
And I said,
wow,
I'm blind. This is the blind center. I have a cane. As a matter of fact, I was not that frustrated. I was actually trying to explain quite calmly, quite politely. And I remember that the audacity that I should respond to this person with authority by telling them that there was nothing wrong with a blind man having a blind man's cane to move about. The fact that I had the audacity to respond and say, no, I think I'll keep my cane, thank you very much. I remember that created an escalated tone. That created a raising of a volume on the part of the staff that was not too thrilled that I should have a response other than yes sir, yes ma'am.
Right.
Let me do what you say. And I remember that I went and I walked. I had the audacity to walk across the room with a cane, and I remember that the whole tone of other staff members towards me were, before they were indifferent, I wouldn't say neutral, but they behaved in a manner that didn't interfere with my life too much. I wasn't a threat to them. I wasn't a client. I remember that changed. That completely changed because I had been blacklisted. I had been labeled. I had been considered, I guess, a rebel for having the audacity to do what I'm supposed to do as a blind person, which is be independent, stand up, and walk to the restroom using my cane without permission, without an explanation as to what I'm doing. And the fact that I had a response to their criticism of my cane. They said that my cane was too long.
Wow.
They said that my cane got in the way. They said that my cane was a hazard. How in the world can a cane, which is designed to provide a blind person independence, be a hazard in a facility which calls itself a community center that instills independence in blind people? How does that work? That does not compute. I say the things I say about the Community Center for the Blind's staff and the Community Center for the Blind's board, not because I have anything personal. This traffic here, I want to make sure they make their way. All right. Not because I have anything personal against any of them.
Right.
It is because the things that I say that they do, the things that I say that they are not just mean things. These are facts. This is who they are. Don't judge a person by what they say they are, or by what they say they will do, or even by what they say that they do. Judge a person, judge a group of people by what they truly have done. And we know what they have done, and what they have not done. Okay? And this is among the worst places. This place is by far the biggest example of, I don't care what you say that I do. Who is going to believe you?
Yeah.
That's right.
What are you going to do about it,
Yeah.
Blindy? I mean, this is if they haven't actually said those very words to somebody, I would be very, very, very surprised.
Likewise,
I
yes.
will, as a truth speaker, I will take this moment to say, no one has ever uttered that to me in those words, but believe you me, that has been conveyed to me loudly and clearly. And that is why I speak to you this truth slowly, loudly, and clearly, so that you know 100% with no doubt what I know 100% without a doubt.
That's right.
Which is the toxicity will go on. This is what they want us to know and to feel. And you will not have you will have no impact on how we run this facility. This is what they want us to know. And you know what? For a long time, they have been right.
Yeah.
It has been true. This is a time when they are being challenged like they've never been challenged before, and they hate it.
Yeah.
We are not doing anything awful. We are not doing anything terrible. Our intentions are good. Our desire is as good as what is written on their false pamphlets.
That's right.
Yes.
But when we push for what they claim to be pushing for, they hate it.
They call the police.
They call the police on blind people. Not once, okay? This hasn't happened once.
And we
This
get
is
same from the.
they have their board members. All right. They have their board members coming by and attempting to silence us, muttering under their breath,
Right.
saying that we should be ashamed.
Yeah.
Shame.
It takes a person who understands what shame is to shame somebody.
Right.
It takes a person who actually knows what shame is to be credible when they say that something is shameful.
That's right.
I am standing here without any shame, as are my partners here.
Yes.
Because the person that is saying that we should be ashamed has no shame.
That's
At
right.
all.
Right.
Look,
We're speaking out for ourselves. No one is.
thank you. That is correct. Look,
Positive.
we have
Positive.
been accused by the folks who have harmed the blind people for decades. We have been accused of being mean-spirited and by being troublemakers,
Bullying.
that we are bullies, okay? And now that we ought to be ashamed of ourselves, of course, apparently. And here's the thing you should know. We, as lovers of peace, productivity, advancement, empowerment of the blind, we have spent years trying to make them get on the same page, again, trying to make them act the way they claim to stand up for the things they claim to stand up for, with no results, no positive results. This, where we're standing here talking, where we can be heard by them and by others, is what we are doing after years of attempts at diplomacy. This is not us refusing to be diplomatic. This is not us preferring to be heard in this context.
Right.
This is us doing what absolutely is left over after you've attempted to speak to the board president, to the staff members, to inspire and help the clients directly whenever possible to stand up for themselves.
Yes.
This is us on conference calls. After being on conference calls, is this yours? Okay. This is after we spent hours after our after a 40-hour or more work week, trying to get this to go in the right direction. We are not out here because of lack of things to do.
Right.
We are not out here because we're bored and blind and needy of of interaction, that we're not, that we're needy, that we have what do you call that? That we need to be stimulated in some kind of way, so we're out here making noise. We are the pillars. I speak for everybody who is blind, that actually whose voice I've heard so far today. I can tell you with certainty that these blind individuals here, and I'll include myself, okay, because it's the truth. The truth is the truth, and what are you going to do? We are pillars of strength in our home, and prolonged absences are detrimental to our family. Prolonged absences of, if we are busy or unavailable, if we're doing anything other than helping our family, helping our community suffer. And we're not out here because it's something to do, because we have nothing else to do. This is a day when my schedule was very different than me standing out here. But I have to jump on the opportunity, the rare opportunities to stand out here and tell the truth. We would rather be somewhere else, I promise you.
That's right.
We want to be somewhere else. We want to use the network that has been established, that we've established, that the community center, that the good people at the community center for the blind, the few that stand still, have worked to create. We want to put that into play. We want to foster positivity and love and joy in the hearts of young, of 6-year-old blind children who don't know what it looks like to be a blind adult.
Right.
Of the parents of a blind newborn who says, my God, I thought that, I wished that the doctor's tests would come back and say that there was just a temporary concern with my baby's eyes, but it looks like my baby's is blind for life. I don't know what that's going to look like. How am I going to be a parent? How is this child going to become an adult and live a happy life? I thought things would be so different. Things are going to be good. Things are going to be wonderful. Life is going to be great, I promise you. And if you don't know how to instill that truth into your child, I will hold your child's hand. I will hold your hand. I will lead you. I will lead you to the happy places that God has blessed me to be, to enjoy the bright, sunshine-filled days that the blind people standing here enjoy. To be able to become the pillars of strength. And your child will help you. Your child will save you. Your blind child will empower you. Your blind child will be the blessing you thought you would never, ever, ever have. That is what your child will be if you allow blind people to be the persons who provide that guidance. If blind people lead the blindness community, then and only then will we all reach our full potential. Not just the blind, but the community that the blind live in.
That's right.
So I ask of you to please please continue to support us.
Yeah.
Continue to ask us questions.
Yeah.
If it comes from a place from love, I guarantee you we will know it.
Yeah.
We will feel it.
That's right.
And we will reciprocate with all of the information, all of the love that you could ever want.
Yeah.
And so I just had to share that. This is again the first chance I've really had to come out and join you all in this context.
Yeah.
I will be back, and of course beyond today and beyond being here and now, I will be in any other context. I will be on the phone. I will be at the council meetings. I will be wherever I need to be, because there is a lot of love and there is a lot of potential just right here in this very spot. But you know what's great is not just that fact, but that we are just a little strand of the great big there is more where this is coming from. I promise you this. And there are others, and I invite you to meet us all. Thank you so much, and here you go.
And many of us could not be out here because of work, school, family obligations, lack of finances, lack of transportation. We rotate to get as many people here as we can. Some are afraid and intimidated by the people behind these doors. Unfortunately, we're trying to change that so that it is a welcoming place again. But we have that positive philosophy of blindness that they see as a negative. We want people to be able to live the lives they want. And blindness is not what should hold you back. Amen. This blind center holds you back.
That's right.
That needs to change. Reach out to Stockton Blind Alliance at 209-200-8589. StocktonBlindAlliance@gmail.com. Find us on YouTube, Twitter, or Facebook. Please help share in our advocacy. Donate your help. We need help finding the resources to further this cause, to break through and get these changes done. We are a small minority. Even in the disabled community, the blind are a minority. But we are stronger together. Help amplify our voices for change.
Yes.
Be open.
Be kind and listen to the blind. Be open. Be kind and listen to the blind. Be open.
Be kind.
And listen to the blind.
Be
Open. Be kind and listen to the blind.
Fix the
Blind Center. The blind deserve better.
Fix
The Blind Center. The blind deserve better. Fix the Blind Center. The blind deserve better.
Fix the blind center.
The blind deserve better.
The veil needs
To drop. The exploitation has to stop. The veil needs to drop. The exploitation has to stop. The veil needs to drop. The exploitation has to stop. The veil needs to drop. The exploitation has to stop.
Let the clients grow.
Oh, administration has to go. Let the clients grow. Administration has to go. Let the clients grow. Administration has to go.
Let the
Clients grow. Administration has to go.
They bully, hide,
And lie. Defund CCBVI. They bully, hide, and lie. Defund CCBVI. They bully, hide, and lie. Defund CCBVI. They bully, hide, and lie. Defund CCBVI.
Tell us where the money
Went.
went.
We want a new board president. Tell us where the money went. We want a new board president. Tell us where the money went. We want a new board president. Tell us where the money went. We want a new board president.
Blind respect you never
So
show.
tell her Rada, hit the road. Blind respect you never show.
Tell her what
Hit the road. Blind respect you never show. Tell her Rada, hit the road. Blind respect you never show. Tell her Rada, hit the road.
Hit the road, Jack. Your taxes, donations,
Support blind degradation. Your taxes, donations, support blind degradation. Your taxes, donations, support blind degradation. Your taxes, donations, support blind degradation. Your
COVID's
no excuse. You need to stop the blind abuse. COVID's no excuse. You need to stop the blind abuse. COVID's no excuse. You need to stop the blind abuse. COVID's no excuse. You need to stop the blind abuse.
The blind
What more? Hurry up, unlock your door. The blind want more. Hurry up, unlock your door. The blind want more. Hurry up, unlock your door. The blind want more. Hurry up, unlock your door.
We're Stockton Blind Alliance. We're standing up to help the clients. Stockton Blind Alliance. We're standing up to help the clients. Stockton Blind Alliance. We're standing up to help the clients. Stockton Blind Alliance. We're standing up to help the clients. They have not reached out in any way. There's been no movement, no change, no appropriate responsiveness. We started out here May 17th. This is our 17th public protest weekly in front of this building. Things need to change, and we need your help.
Yeah.
Reach out to us to see how you can help.
Yeah.
If you have any suggestions or resources, you know, we are a talented group of individuals. We are small. There are many of us, and we are growing in our network, but we need your help. We can use your help. This independent private nonprofit thinks they are accountable to no one. Show them that they're wrong. Please, please help us.
Yeah.
And this last week, the treasurer snuck by without identifying himself and told us shame, shame, shame instead of talking to speak to us.
Yeah.
The week before that, the executive director called the police on peaceful blind protesters. We were told we were doing nothing wrong. The officer went in to tell him as much, and we appreciate his service and offer.
That's right.
Yeah.
But the Blind Center called the cops. We
Don't care, we'll never stop. The Blind Center called the cops. We don't care, we'll never stop. The Blind Center called the cops. We don't care, we'll never stop. The Blind Center called the cops. We don't care, we'll never stop.
They are the ones that should be ashamed.
Yeah.
Shame, shame.
Shame, shame,
Please
shame.
follow our Stockton Blind
Yeah.
Alliance accounts on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Reach out to us at 209-200-8589 or StocktonBlindAlliance@gmail.com.
Yeah.
We will not stop until this is a safe, inclusive, and empowering place again for the blind of San Joaquin County
That's right.
and the greater San Joaquin Valley.
Yeah.
And it will happen.
Yeah.
We're going nowhere. Consider this the new norm. If you think that this is a temporary thing and we're going to wear ourselves out, I hate to break it to you, it's not going to happen.
That's right.
We're
It's not.
standing up for Bob. They
Made me quit my job.
We're standing up for Bob.
They made me quit my job.
We're standing up for Bob.
They made me quit my job.
We're standing up for Bob.
They made me quit my job.
They made me quit mine. They canned Janet the second they could, and they tried to get Miguel Venegas fired from his for simply speaking up and sharing some alternatives and helping his blind students advocate for themselves. We want a safe, inclusive, and empowering place for the blind of all ages here.
Yeah.
Please let us know how you can help.
Yeah.
Please don't let us be ignored, marginalized, and shut down any longer. Thank
right.
you for your support. Thank you to our family, friends, allies in the community who take their time, sacrifice, gas, money, time, leaving work. Some people can't do that. We are here for those that can't speak up.
That's right.
Rain, shine, hot heat.
Stockton heat.
Yep.
We're turning up the heat.
We're
That's it.
turning up the heat. So the heat ain't gonna go down, and not even in the
And
winter.
you got nothing on y'all.
Yeah. So
Yep.
Thank you, Bob and Lori, for helping us stream to get the word
glad
out
to.
there.
Well,
God bless you all.
I'll say this.
Thank you, Bob, for recording.
Anytime.
Thank you, Bob's fiance. Thank you, volunteers that have showed up out of nowhere. Miguel Mendez came out. Thank you for coming. David, Jennifer, myself, Bob. Thank you for coming all the way from Modesto. See, we got a trooper there, coming out when he can. So thank you guys.
I just got to say this for those inside. You don't like me being out here, call my boss, or better yet, go look in the mirror.
Yes. All right. Man, I like you, bro.
Shame, shame, shame. That must have been a mirror he was looking at instead of a protest.
That's right.
Shame,
The shame is on the board.
Shame is on the board.
Do you want me to end it?
Everything like this.
Yeah, I think we can go and wrap it up. Thank you all for tuning in and watching out there. Thank you for the support. And if you have any questions or comments, you'd like to reach out to us. If you're in the San Joaquin Valley or surrounding areas, you or a loved one is blind or visually impaired and looking for services, as opposed to allowing your Department of Rehabilitation counselor to direct you to this place, as they may, feel free to reach out to us, Stockton Blind Alliance, at 209-200-8589. We would be glad to help. If you are a client of Department of Rehab and they're trying to push you into this center here at 4253 Grand Canal Boulevard, Stockton, California, you have a right to request a different training center. You have a right to stand up for yourself. You don't have to go through being treated like garbage. Don't let Department of Rehabilitation push you around. Again, you can contact Stockton Blind Alliance at 209-200-8589, Stockton Blind Alliance at gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at Stockton Blind Alliance. And with that, thanks for tuning in, and we'll wrap it up.
All right. I love you.
Love you too, hon. I'll talk to you later on, okay?
Okay. Bye.
Were there any... What's that?